Hello everyone, this is Turin here, and today guys I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live BattleCast. In this game I'm going to be playing the Dwarves led by Ungrim Iron Fist, and we're going to be facing off against Redneck Bob and the forces of Bretonnia. Definitely going to be a good time. So I'm going with Ungrim. I do have 3 Runesmiths, and I decided to go a little bit cheaper since I went so wide on the Runesmiths, which are very expensive. So I just kind of wanted to saturate some of my lower tier infantry with the supporting Rune of Wrath and Ruin. On top of that, I do have 2 Thunders, a single Althar's Raiders for the Mark, which is really good at taking down like Bretonian Lords. Granted, the Fey Enchantress is a little bit of a tougher target because she usually runs behind the infantry, but if he does bring like King Lewin or anyone like that, hopefully I can put some good pressure on those guys. On top of that, I do have the Goblobber, which is very good at taking down Foot Squires, which are kind of the intuitive pick here. And I don't know how well my Dwarf Warriors are going to hold up against Foot Squires, but I think with a Runesmith supporting like each of those frontline groups, hopefully I can make a little bit of progress. And one group of Slayers, of course. So Slayers obviously being a pretty good choice. Granted, they can get rowed down if your opponent's really good at like effectively cycle charging, but still, they're fast. They have an anti-large bonus, good at surrounding enemy lords. And for a Dwarf, they are quite quick. And I should not fail to mention my 2 miners who I'm going to use in the back. And miners, if you have like a single Runesmith with them, can actually like stand and trade with Bretonnian Cat, which is pretty nice. So in the front, let's go ahead and have our main battle line like this. So we're going to put the Grumbling Guard right in the middle. And you know what? We can actually go a little bit and have a tighter pocket this time. Because essentially, if they try and like blitzkrieg my front line with like questing knights, you want your formation to be a little bit denser. Granted, if you're trying to avoid artillery and missile fire, that's when you spaghetti and go wide. So right now we're just going to try this out and see if it works out for us. So let's go ahead and get the Slayers, and they're just going to be on perpetual guard duty like right here. We'll get one group of Thunderers here. We're going to put them in a tight formation just so they can turn quicker. Something I learned very late into my tenure of as a Total War player. Let's put these guys here. The Slayer King can kind of chill in the back, and the Runesmith with like that's fully kitted out, we want him in the front line. The other Runesmiths we're just going to put in the auxiliary and in the wings to just kind of help out against cab and other forms of harass. So these guys can go here and these guys can go here. So that's a nice looking Dawi formation right there. Great. So we're going to put the artillery piece in group 2, put these guys in group 3, and I think we are ready to party. So good luck to my opponent. Let's have some fun, and here we go. So he does have Foot Squires, of course, so we're going to start shooting at those guys. And, being the Dwarves and based on our army composition, we're going to kind of just wait for him to come over to us. So he does have Questing Knights, of course, so the only thing that's a little bit odd is the Green Knight, but he did bring a Field Trebuchet, so we might get punished for blobbing up a little bit and going a little bit tighter here. But we can actually ride out and meet him. Screw it. We're not gonna sit in our caves and wallow in our misery. We're gonna go meet them head on and hopefully not get slayed. So do I pull these Slayers up? I'm kind of tempted to, honestly, because I think if we bring the fight to him over here, man, he has a ton of Questing Knights. He actually has one group of Grail Knights and King Lewin, of course, but King Lewin on the ground, which is interesting. So we're not gonna have to worry about getting penetrated too badly here. Yes, that's what she said. And we're going to just switch on to this other group of Foot Squires and, just kind of saturate the damage across the front line. Honestly, I think we should win the infantry battle pretty easily. And we're just going to really have to worry about those calves. So honestly, I'm partially tempted to just kind of abandon the Goblobber in the back and just use the Slayers to defend against all these freaking Questing Knights. There's so many of them. So let's go ahead and just kind of keep squaring up to our opponent like so. And we're just going to try and turn and make sure we're facing those Questing Knights. But these Goblobbers doing some really good damage to the forces of Redneck Bob. So Redneck Bob is advancing pretty aggressively here, and whenever a player has a name like that, you got to just say it as much as you can. So you can see the Green Knight and the Goon Squad. Like if I even try and defend that, I think what we do here is we just like crush his main formation. And let's get these guys turning here. We'll get these guys turning here. The Slayers can kind of turn right here, and let's put the Runesmith here. Do I have any other troops? Yeah, we can pull these what's it called, miners around, and we're getting some decent fire. Oh, those are actually spearmen, so we probably don't want to be going too ham. Let's actually move those guys here, and let's get our front line engaged while we're at it. So here we go, here, and good. So we do have a little anti-large bonus with Ungrim, which is going to be quite nice. So he's coming in pretty hot and heavy here. So we're going to get our Thunder Fire going here. Let's get these guys going here, and let's get the Slayer King kind of pushing over there. So the miners definitely not in for a good time. Let's get the Runesmiths running over there to cast the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. We do have that perpetual fire coming on these guys. It's doing pretty well for us, but let's get the Grumbling Guard in there. Man, we are getting aggressed from all angles, guys. So let's go ahead and use the Rune of Wrath and Ruin right here on some of these knights, and he's probably just going to push through, honestly, and just like try and Zerg us. But we do have some decent pressure fire coming, and let's get these Runesmiths over here, and he can go support the front line. I think that's going to be pretty good. Great, so this Runesmith needs to be fighting, and where's the Slayer King? So the Slayer King's kind of chilling in the pocket, working on some of these knights, which is good. Exactly what we want. We're getting that free kind of pressure on him, and let's go ahead and just start popping some caps in these guys. So one group of Thunders is here. The other one has been kind of congested a little bit, so we're going to try and pull back. And do we have a Rune of Wrath and Ruin here to help out against these? Man, those Dwarf Warriors are trading really effectively there. So let's go ahead and pop our different leadership buffs and start chasing King Lewin here. And we basically just want to like fan out our formation. to get some of these miners chasing in as well to kind of plug the wound there. So he's just going all in for the kill here. He does not even care about going after my... does he have any, like, healthy cav here? I feel like he doesn't. So let's actually go ahead and start shooting at his artillery piece. I think that's going to be, you know, one of the safer paths right here. So the Green Knight getting in there, trolling us a little bit, but, you know, we should be fine. So let's shoot into the back of these Quest Knights here and run these guys to kind of run the Green Knight off. And how are we doing on the Rune of Wrath and Ruins? I think we do have one here. So let's pop it on those Spearmen at Arms. Then with these guys, let's pull them back and across. And we should be able to get it on some of those guys. No, don't think so. But anyways, we're getting some really healthy fire. Those Grail Knights are definitely going down pretty hard. And the Slayer King is getting in there and just laying a royal WWE people's elbow on that guy. So that's looking good for us. So let's kind of collapse on the rest of these troops here, pull these guys back, have them go help out. And the Slayers are actually... Hey, man, they stayed and fought, but in the wrong spot. But nonetheless, it worked for us, guys. Cast a Rune of Wrath and Ruin there. Check our missiles. The Green Knight. What an odd pick. Granted, if I don't bring, like, Thorgrim, I'm not going to have, like, a ton of magic damage for that guy. But you can see the Bretonnian forces and many fronts are starting to collapse. Let's get these guys charging into these Knights here. And he definitely should have been pressuring the flanks a little bit more with the Knights. I think he was a little bit lackadaisical with that. Let's pull the Slayers back here. We don't want to be shooting at the Green Knight. It's such a waste. Let's go ahead and shoot at these guys here. And do we have any warriors? We do. So we can pull the Slayers to kind of intercept this guy. And the Godblobber in the back is performing well. And those miners took the charges like absolute champs. And you can see that King Lewin is just getting karate chopped. So let's see if we can get a scenic beat down here. Oh, what are you doing, Ungrim? What are you doing, man? Yeah, I guess he wants to let him live to fight another day. So we'll look around, see. It looks like everything of Bretonnia's is indeed shattered. So right now we're just going to kind of collapse on the Green Knight here. And it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. So we were able to fend off the hordes of Bretonnia. King Lewin, you know, definitely took a little bit of a beating from the Slayer King, who, you know, lived up to his name. And Lewin was on a horse, so he did count as a large unit. The Dwarf Warriors did well. They actually traded pretty evenly with those foot squires in the front. Granted, they were supported by the Runesmith, but... yeah, I think he just was a little bit too linear with his cav. Like, he charged up and won really, like, aggressive, like, trying to overwhelm that flank, which it was just miners. So on paper, it might have looked really, like, alluring, but I think some of the Questing Knights should have been pressuring the back and going after my Thunderers, because even though they didn't get a ton of kills, the Thunderers still, you know, performed really well and did a ton of HP damage to those cav, especially in conjunction with the 3 Runes of Wrath and Ruin. I actually like Ungrim. I don't know if I would call him like the most viable pick in this matchup. Obviously, you know, having High King Thorgrim to give all those Dwarf Warriors that melee attack is really nice. Plus, he can't be knocked over. But Ungrim is, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with, and you don't have to worry about terror routing. And if it is a really close battle in the end, sometimes he can pull out some pretty insane victories for sure. The miners, yeah, not much to say. 0 and 1 kills there, but they took those Questing Knight charges like absolute bosses. I mean, they took a huge beating, and they didn't really have like many great targets to, you know, get kills from. Because I mean, you know, with their 18 weapon strength or whatever it is, trying to get that on Questing Knights is going to be a pretty grim proposition for sure. So let's make this a double cast for you guys. We'll have one more sweet juicy one here, and we'll make it a double Dawi cast. So far the proud dwarves are 1 for 1, which is always good. So hopefully we can get, you know, some of the harder matchups. I really want to work on my Dwarf first Vampire counts and my Dwarf first Greenskins. Dwarf first Greenskins is just so incredibly hard. Like, they can just zerg you with, like, I feel like they can just mash anything together with, like, just certain units, and it's just so tough to deal with. So hopefully we'll find some Greenskin action going on. But and Chaos too. Chaos is an incredibly hard matchup for the Dwarves. Like, I have a lot of trouble winning that. I think using the gyrocopters to like counterplay the chariots is going to be really important. I haven't been doing that. I've been trying to like work around that and find different options, but man, it has just been it's been tough. Bellegarde does give the expert charge defense. Maybe that could be something we do, but again, it's like it's a band-aid. You know, the problem is going to be perpetual over the course of the whole battle. So this is the Mighty Oathstone. It's just a band-aid. Okay, so we get the vampire counts. Good. So do we want to go? I think we got to go Thorgrim just in case. People have been getting Cairn rates against me actually, so I think we're just going to get the Great Book of Grudges here. On top of that, we're going to go Runesmiths, and do we want to get the 3? Yeah, we'll strip them down, and we'll do this. And again, I'm just trying to like iron out. I know like a lot of you guys might not like watching triple Runesmith, but I'm just trying to iron out like competitive, semi-competitive builds that would, you know, work. So let's get these guys here to deal with Graveguard, and they have enough armor to deal with the, you know, low tier units as well. We'll get the Grumbling Guard to saturate those guys. And what else do I want to get here? So probably going to need some Rangers. And the Althar's Raiders, do we want to get them? You know what? Let's actually just get the Althar's Raiders aren't bad. They're not that much more expensive, so let's actually just get those guys. I think they're going to be a pretty good pick here. So we have quite a bit of money left, so I think here we're going to get some Slayers. We'll get 2 groups of Slayers, and then our Infantry Corps is pretty weak right now. I think we need a little bit of a kind of toughening up in that front line, so maybe we get 1 group of Longbeards with Great Weapons to kind of help support, and we can even use them against Blood Knights. I think that'll probably be one of the optimal places there. And do we want an artillery piece? That's what I was thinking. So let's see what map we're on. So we're on Karak Ungor, and we have a little bit of money left. I would actually like to get some like miners or something, just some fodder. The bolt thrower. No, I'm not going to get the bolt thrower right now. Could get another group of rangers, but that's already like so many missile units to protect that I feel like it's going to be a little bit dicey. So do we get the dwarf warriors? I think we do, because we're going Thorgrim, and anytime you're with Thorgrim, you can get away with using like these type of builds. And I'm not rooted by any artillery pieces. Granted, I think like a single cannon can be pretty good against the vampire counts at taking out mortis engines and other high value targets before they get to you. And I mean, my go-to build, and I'm trying to evolve from it, is my go-to build was like 2 gyros, and then you get an artillery piece, and you basically kill stuff before they get to you. So you're putting a lot of marbles on that, but if someone brings like 1 or 2 groups of fellbats, it can be so incredibly hard to pull off. So we'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes, and we'll probably be getting some Skarsnik action later. So Lady Turin over there demands it. The Skarsnik. She just says talk. Yes, so we'll do our best for that. So we are fighting in the shade, so we're going to go ahead and get the Grumbling Guard right here. Put them like so, and let's see. Let's go a little bit more narrow. Yeah, so I don't know. We could go wide. This is going to be better for taking charges, I think, because they won't be able to penetrate as easy. So let's go ahead and put the Rangers right here. Put one group on the far side right here. Although the problem with going like this is, yeah, I think we actually want to go wider. So let's go ahead and degroup this formation right now, and we can go ahead and spread them out. Because in going wider, it makes the zombie summons like less punishing. So we'll get one group of Rangers on the far side. We'll get these guys over here, and the Althar's Raiders can kind of, you know, chill in the middle a little bit. So good. So on top of that, we're going to get Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and where ours is our juiced up runesmith. So we want him in the front, like we were very similar to our last game. Put one runesmith here, one runesmith here, and let's see what else we got. I love the double slayer, and then we're going to put one group of the Longbeards with great weapons back here, and we'll put 2 slayers in each of the wings. So the slayers will be obviously pretty good at cutting through fodder if they need to, but otherwise they're going to be hunting Blood Knight. Well, not Blood Knights aren't a terribly popular pick against the dwarves, at least from my my recent experience. So I honestly think like you just spam Black Knights and Barracks Reavers, and that's like so tough for the dwarves to deal with. At least they don't have chariots, although they do have the Black Coach. So we got Vlad von Karstein, we got Fellbats, and a Black Coach, guys. We got Black Knights, and we got Black Knights. So definitely a very optimal build for my opponent, I would say. I don't know if I would call it optimal. It's good. I mean, I don't see any holes, really. I mean, he's got great weapons. He's got Cav Harass to really make my life difficult. Vlad's going to be running in there dirty, just getting all crunk with his weapons and stuff, so... But I think we have the adequate tools to deal with it. We do have the Runes of Wrath and Ruin, which are really good for poking down the... You know, if he comes in and just lances me and charges me, I want to have something to, like, counterplay that. I don't want him just let him, you know, do it for free. So, all right, so we're going to posture up everybody. Thorgrim and the boys are going to be kind of hanging out, so let's just go ahead and get him stationary so I can start reacting accordingly. So we're going to run this guy out here, and this Runesmith, we're just going to kind of keep tight. So if I can get a Rune of Wrath and Ruin right now... And they actually nerfed the range by like 50% if I'm not mistaken. Like it used to be pretty good. So let's go ahead and start popping these guys here. And we want to be targeting the Corpse Guard, but my opponent, very well played, is actually keeping it back. So I'm definitely some good master level tactics going on there. So the Fellbats are coming in pretty hot and heavy. So maybe, do we pop a Rune of Wrath and Ruin? I don't think we do. So let's go ahead and pop that on those guys. And on the far side, we need to be, you know, pretty on top of all that stuff. So we'll pull the Slayers in here to have them go help out with the Fellbats. And all right, so in the front line, we probably want to get ready to engage. So let's get him going here, do a little bit of a cross pattern engage. And all right, so everyone's going to be going in pretty good here. I'm feeling confident about this. And we do have this corpse cart that's coming in. But these guys will just kind of keep throwing here. And good. So I think it's going well. We are going to have him intercept there. And these Slayers, as soon as they're done with those Fellbats, can kind of detach. We'll get those guys going. And these Slayers obviously need to have a screen set up here. So let's go ahead and run them over here. Use that Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And all right, so everything's going well. We have these extra Longbeards. And as soon as our missiles are freed up, I think we'll be in good shape. And in the front, we want to check, make sure all our runesmiths are doing things. We don't want to have them sitting on their laurels. And I hate when I do that, when I accidentally click off. Let's go ahead and get that on the Sternsman there. Very tough unit, so we obviously need to start working on that. And he did get some zombie summons, so we'll pull some of our auxiliary troops, have them run up, and the Slayers should be able to intercept these guys. So let's get them here and re-pull these Rangers in the back line here. So great. So these Slayers here have done their job, so we'll pull them here. And let's start firing at that Corpse Guard. So we definitely need to start applying some pressure, although, ooh, it looks like Vlad's coming up pretty hot here. So we might want to pull these Slayers up and back and have them start working on those zombies. And it looks like we've kind of mitigated a lot of his cav pressure. And how are we doing here in the front? It's actually going well. A lot of those Grave Guard are getting pretty heavily punished. So our missile troops are online, so we'll start shooting at that Corpse Guard again. It looks like he did get a nice little Winds of Death there that got through a few of my different troops, but I don't think it was going to be backbreaking. And his cav, he hasn't been like cycle charging him too aggressively, so thankfully we've been able to get our pause, and you can see he's finally starting to move those guys. So we're going to kind of adapt by running over here, and good. So our missile troops have gotten away. We're going to start shooting at that Corpse Guard, and let's also get High King Thorgrim. He should be, actually, yeah, we can just keep him over here kind of supporting these Dwarf Warriors, and we do have all our runes coming up here in just a second. So those Black Knights trying to re-engage there. Thankfully, we were able to kind of react and catch our opponent there, keep up with his movements, and it looks like the job we are doing pretty well. Balance of power is very even. Kind of hard to tell who's going to win at this point, but we'll just move these guys back. Let's get this runesmith fighting those zombies, and we are getting some great healthy fire on this. We do have all these runes on this guy as well, so we need to make sure to use those to wear down these freaking Graveguard, which are just seem to go on forever, guys. So the zombie summons are doing... Oh, we totally forgot about the Altar's Raiders there, so some sloppy micro on my part, but you know what, guys? It's A-okay. So we have crumbled his knights back there, so let's go ahead and pull these guys in to kind of help out. We're just going to ignore those knights at this point. And he's actually marching the corpse cart towards my lord, which is exactly what we want right now. So let's see. Do we have any runes of Wrath and Ruin? We do, actually. And these guys are in good shape, actually. So we'll run them over here and pull the runesmith in the back to kind of help out. And you can see Big Daddy Vlad is kind of right on top of my goodies right now. So let's get the Slayers kind of chasing him down just to tie him down, so then we can be a little bit more free with our movements. And the corpse cart was actually taken down by the High King, so it looks like he was able to just beat that thing to a pulp, which is great. Let's pop these different buffs. He can keep fighting here, and I actually think, yeah, we need some reinforcements here. Pretty bad, so let's go ahead and get this Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And where is this guy? So this guy's running over here, so let's get him helping against Vlad. And these guys can just start shooting into, you know, whatever targets are really available. So good. I think the battle's going well. It's very even. The balance of power is starting to shift back into our favor. We're able to deal with the Cav, and the Dwarf Warriors, definitely, you know, an underrated unit. I mean, they held pretty well against, like, Graveguard, which are, you know, arguably a much higher tier unit. The Slayers did well for us, so we were able to intercept those Black Knights and you know, really do our thing there. And you can see even Vlad's trying to scurry away from the Slayers right now. So we'll just kind of hack these zombies up. No point in, like, chasing through them and just getting totally mucked down. And you can see the balance of power is starting to shift in our favor. High King Thorgrim performing pretty well for us, and we do have another runesmith here. And even though we totally slopped up on those Altar's Raiders, I actually just 100% forgot about those guys. You know, they stood and fought and, you know, dealt with Vladdy Daddy for some time, and, you know, bought their fellow Dawi the much needed time. So let's go ahead and clean up some of these zombies. On the far side, we do have our Dwarf Warriors continuing to fight with those Königstein Stalkers. Probably mangling that name pretty horribly, but good. So we do have our Altar's Raiders back. So let's go ahead and get those guys kind of going after Vladdy Daddy. And Vlad is, it looks like he is going after my lord right now, but even if he goes after my lord, it will pop the High King buff. And the dwarves aren't ones to flee once their, you know, lord goes down. So in a situation like this, it's not like the Greenskins where you could have like a mass routing of doom. My opponent had some pretty good play, like you know, re-racking his corpse cart and, you know, delaying the movement to avoid my missile fire. I definitely like that play from him. So let's kind of keep working here, and let's actually run the High King back just to be safe. So, and we do have Runes of Wrath and Ruin. No real great targets right now, so we'll just kind of hang tight on that. And let's get these guys kind of pushing up to intercept the Sternsmen. So the Sternsmen, despite fighting my elite units the whole game, are still very sturdy, but you can see these Slayers got their axes out for Harambe. They're taking them axes, so things are looking up in the world. High King is going to kind of sit back and go join some of his bros back here, and we do have this firing squad, so we're going to go ahead and get that on Manfred right now, and we can let this runesmith hopefully be able to finish off the rest of these Graveguard over here. So yeah, on the front, look, it's just Vlad just chasing. So let's go ahead and get him engaged here just for a moment. I don't want to, like, lose him. You know, it's just a pride thing at this point. So we'll pull these guys in here, and let's get all the runesmiths kind of pushing in as well. So all right, so here we go, and 24 seconds on that, and yeah, you guys just killed the zombies. Just finish them. How many more zombies do I have to deal with? But man, a lot of people, you know, don't give Thorgrim the props that he deserves for his melee stats. Like, he has insane melee attack and really good melee defense as well. So I mean, he's one of the stronger lords for, like, even for, like, duelist type situations. So he's laying the slapping down on old Vladdy Daddy there, and it looks like that's going to be all she wrote for the vampire counts. So let's get these guys in here, pushing in after these zombies, and hopefully we can you know, put the icing on the cake here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that double Dawi cast. It was definitely fun. I've been trying to get back into them because I've been neglecting them for so long, but I've been enjoying it lately. You know, the meta game's pretty wild. Saw some good games in some of those Total Warhammer Cups with the Dwarfs. Definitely inspired me to get back on the horse. So well played to my opponent. That wasn't Redneck Bob, I don't think, was it? No, I think that was someone else. So, oh, we still have some zombies back here that we have to finish off. But man, I'm so excited for Norska. It's gonna be really cool to use those lords. That's probably the thing I'm most excited about, is using the legendary lords from Norska. Like Throg is gonna be so much fun, just like goon hunting people with that heavy AP and an anti-large bonus. So like, I can't wait for the first time somebody tries to, like, cycle charge him, and then they just take, like, a massive beating from his frostbite and just get slowed into oblivion. So let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown screen, see how things went. Very well played, Tuchanky over there. And I totally thought that was a black coach. My apologies, guys, for you know, kind of, for what do they call that? Honey dicking, blue balling, whatever, about the black coach. So yeah, grim times. It was unfortunately it was just the corpse cart, but Dwarf Warriors performed well. 62 kills, 69, 92 against, like, Graveguard. It was great weapons. It's really good. Slayers performed well. Rangers did their job, and even the Altar's Raiders, with my sloppy play, were able to perform. So again, well played to my my buddy over here. Look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that cast. Have an excellent night, and take care.